Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another Watcher of Realms video. Today we're doing a champion spotlight. I've been meaning to do a champion spotlight for a couple of days now, and this one's going to be on Marri. So I think she's one of the most important heroes in the entire game, one of the best epics in the entire game. So I'm going to talk about everything about Marri, where you can use her, how to build her. Now, she's not only good in the beginning game, she's good in the end game as well. Just honestly one of the most generally useful heroes in the entire game. Everyone gets a copy of her for free, so I figure it'd be a good champion spotlight. I want to talk about how you build her, what she's good for, all of that good stuff. All right, let's take a look at the ratings first of all. Faction Trial, yeah, she's useful in Faction Trial. Tide, I don't use her in Tide. I don't think her BP is that high, so she's probably not going to be super useful there. AoE DPS Arena, you can use her for CC if you'd like. Gear Raid 3, you can definitely use her for CC. You put her right at the end near the portal and she can block and do all that good stuff, so it's going to be really useful there. Gear Raid 2, definitely not needed. At one point there was some sort of bug where you could bug the boss out using her, but Gear Raid 2, probably one of the only places in the game you're really not going to use her. Sustained DPS, not going to use her that much. Artifact Material Raid, definitely not going to use her because you only have one tile, so it's really only going to be some of the arenas in Gear Raid 2 where you're not going to use her. EXP Raid, you can definitely use her. Gold Raid, you can use her. Guild Boss, you can use her. I do use her in my Guild Boss team. Gear Raid 1, you can absolutely use her. This is a bad rating, whoever did this. I mean, she is top tier in Gear Raid 1. And Anti-Air DPS, she is also great there. So, those are all the places you can use her. Let's go through her gear, let's go through all that, and let's see what's going on. So first of all, her kit. Cast a blizzard on enemies for 6 seconds, dealing AoE damage equal to 90% per second to all enemies in range and freezing them for 4 seconds. Quite a long freeze. It's pretty good. You get some increased duration and all that good stuff. Awaken 5 gives the duration of the slow and freeze plus 1 second. It's pretty cool. Awaken 3 gives 1 second duration to the ultimate. She also inflicts slow on all of her basic attacks. Pretty cool. 35% chance to cast icicles at 3 random targets, inflicting slow. So not only does she slow 1 target, sometimes she slows 3 targets. Pretty cool. She also gets rage regen for attacking. You can see periodic rage regen attack. This means that you get 3 per attack. Okay, increases the chance of attacks producing extra icicles, and the slurration. That's duration and slow together. Slurration, if you didn't know. The duration of slow and freeze inflicted by Marri plus 1 second. And then a passive that gives vulnerability. Really good vulnerability as well. 20% magic and physical. This is why she's usable in Guild Boss. She can sit there and auto attack, and 100% uptime on vulnerability, physical and magic, which is really good for definitely it helped my Guild Boss like crazy, even though I'm talking about Nightmare 4. The duration of slow and freeze inflicted plus 1 second, etc. Okay, so I talked about the awakens already. Chance of slowing multiple targets. We have the blizzard duration, which is very useful. Revival time down by 10 seconds, which is useful. And then the duration and slow plus 1 second. So everything in her kit is about slowing or debuffing. So she's a great support unit. Now, artifacts. This one's really good. I have it almost maxed out for her. You can see 22 out of 25, so I have the highest level. Restores 7.5% rage for every 5 attacks. Let me talk about rage regen and how it works, because some people, I think, are still confused about it. I hear it all the time. So this set, Mana Spring Bangle, this is the set I'm using in here. Rage regen auto, okay? So this is auto instead of rage regen attack. Rage regen attack means you get that rage every time you attack. Rage regen auto means you get that every second. So this gains 3 rage per second. And then rage regen, if we go to this tab and we go to attribute info and we go down, rage regen increases the hero's rage regen and rage regen attacked. So this is when you attack and when you are attacked in equal proportion. So rage regen is only useful if you're attacking or getting attacked. Rage regen auto is good no matter what's happening. It's just literally rage regen per second. So that's the difference between all the rage regens. So this is the passive one that happens always, so this set is quite good. You can't really get this anywhere else. Apparently you used to be able to get it in Forerunner on substats, but you can no longer get that on substats. So that's why this artifact is so good, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because this restores 7.5% of your rage, not just like 7 rage, right? So if you look at your skill, you can see how much rage you have, right? So you have 1100 total rage. So this will restore 7.5% for every 5 attacks. And you want to build her very, very high attack speed, right? You can see mine is 500 attack speed. You can see attack interval starts at 2 seconds, goes down to 1 second. I have 498 attack speed. So I'll kind of show you what I have done for gearing. So you also want to keep her alive. So my goal here is to get as much attack speed, as much rage regen as possible, and then get tanky stats or also damage stats. So this is HP, tanky stat, that's good. It's got rage regen, attack, crit rate, and attack speed. So this is a really good piece for her. It's also the Mana Spring totem, Mana Spring set, which I think is really good. You do want an attack speed main in the center slot here. So attack speed's good. And then I have defensive stats because I want her to live. She's only 5-star, so she's only level 50. So I want her to live, so that's how I have her built. Again, rage regen is really nice in this slot. When you have really high attack speed, rage regen is better, right? Because it's every time you attack, you're getting rage. So it's better if you have rage regen with a very fast attack speed like 500. So I got rage regen, HP, a little bit of damage stats, and then tanky stats, and then I'm using this for more attack speed. Again, my priority is as much attack speed as possible, and then as much rage regen and defensive stats as possible. So again, I want an attack speed substat with an attack set. And then here I'm just looking for a little bit of tanky stats and a little bit of damage. She really does not do a lot of damage, so you can ignore damage completely if you want to, and just go for tanky stats and rage regen and attack speed, right? So that's the build. She gets some cool stuff. She also transforms when you promote her to look like this. She looks different in the very beginning when you summon her, so if that's confusing. She is one of the only heroes that changes what she looks like based on her promotions. Okay, so that's everything about Marri. Now let's talk about where I'm going to use her. I'll show you where I personally use her. So in Arena, if I go to my defense, where am I using her in Arena? I use her in anti-air to slow, because in anti-air, you can't block them. So you can only slow them to give them longer time to get to your base, right? So you can use her there. You can definitely use them in AoE. Same kind of story. You can use not only does she slow in CC, but she can also proc Morrigan's Lord bonus, right? So if I show her Lord bonus over here, you can see if 30% more damage if they're inflicted by stun, freeze, immobilize. So she does the freeze, which procs the Cursed Lord, so she's very good in AoE as well. Single target, you're probably not going to use her, but I guess you could if you just want the defense break. You could totally use her in single target, I'm sure, or sustain. So you really could use, depending on where you are in the game, you could use her everywhere, or maybe you use her nowhere. But I think even if you're an endgame player, you probably still use her in some places. Okay, now, Artifact Material Rage, you're not going to use her. Guild Boss, I do in fact use her on Guild Boss, so I use her in Nightmare 3. I already made a full video on my team. If you want to check that out, feel free. One arena part. Okay, I don't get that very often. But I already made a video on my Guild Boss team using Marri. Some people were pretty annoyed that I was using Marri over Twin Fiend and Zillatu, but I don't have them skilled up, and that was just kind of the easiest way that I could get the most amount of damage. So I still use Marri in Nightmare 4. I won't show you the run because I already did an entire dedicated video on that, but I do use her in Guild Boss right now. Resource Raid, I use her in a lot of the Resource Raids. Let's see if I am currently using in the team. I'm not using here, but you can use her at the very end right here to kind of help stun and slow everyone at the very end, freeze and slow I should say, and it's kind of good when you get them into the bottleneck. She can do a lot of CC to help. You can use 2 defenders and a Marri here, and then if you don't have quite enough damage to get through it for EXP and for Gold Raid, she can just help with that CC. She's going to be very useful there. I redid it. Oops. I redid it with this team because I wanted to use Reeve and Razak for the extra bonuses. Okay, so you can definitely use an XP and gold raid 100%. You're going to use her in faction trial when you have what is it, the Northerners. You're definitely going to use her in here. You definitely can. You don't have to, but you can. 100,000% use her there. Now, where she really is going to shine is Gear Raid 1 and Gear Raid 3. You're going to use her a lot in these. I think even I use in my 21 team, right? Do I use her in my 21 team? No, I originally used her in my like 20 team, I believe. I used her a crap ton on my free to play to help slow, but there's a lot of different strats you can use for this one. This team I redid and kind of, this is just showing my last team. I forgot, it doesn't save what team you have, but I'm pretty sure my 20 uses her. I'm pretty sure my 19 and 20, where she's down here in this bottom corner, freezing everything. I'm trying to see, do I have a Marri in here? I can't really tell. Looks like I maybe don't have her, but she's definitely useful in the lower levels, and she can be useful in these higher levels as well, just to help slow. A lot of times I'll put her on this tile right here. I have a vortex here right now, and I'm just kind of blasting the boss with the strat here. But definitely Marri can be used to help slow, especially down here in this bottom area when you get the boss and a bunch of ads coming down. You can definitely use Marri to slow. I used her on my free-to-play account, which really helped like crazy. So yeah, just wanted to talk about that. Let me get out of here, and then I'll show you where else she's going to be useful. Gear Raid 1, she is used in almost every team. Gear Raid 3, she's not a necessity. If you have really good marksmen, you can use her, especially in some of these lower stages where you have the layout like this. You can definitely use Marri, and I would always put her in this tile right here facing right to freeze this whole area. So when I have this layout, I definitely use Marri. When I have the end game layout, I don't always use Marri, but I'm sure people have used her. But if I go into Gear Raid 1, I think most people are going to use her. So I am using her in my team right now. I just did a video on these, so you've seen that as well. But let me just show you, I guess, an auto run real quick and kind of just show you her usability here. Now, not only does she give the reduced resistances, she definitely helps with the freeze, and that gives CC so that my Vienna deals more damage. In this 20 run I'm actually not using Morrigan for once, so she's not as useful for proccing the bonus, but she is useful just for CC, right? So I'll show you. She gets placed kind of last because she's not dealing damage for me again, and she's only 5-star, and she's able to live in this corner where she gets hit the most. So you can say there's the freeze. It froze basically the entire group for a couple seconds, and that just takes damage off of your tower, your wall, sorry. So that's going to be pretty cool. I finally got this team running. 20 was quite hard, but you can see she's just continuously, you can see how fast her rage regen is. Do you see how fast she gets her rage back? It's quite insane. You can just keep popping her freeze. You can see there's another one. So I can pop her freeze every couple seconds because of my attack speed, my rage regen, and that mana spring set I'm using. You look at, she's already good to use her ultimate again. She's freezing again. And look at, it's only a couple seconds, and boom, she gets her rage all the way up. She can't freeze the boss, but just for fun, I use the ultimate there, and you can just see how crazy the amount of CC she has in her kit. Literally one of the best, probably the best CC hero in the entire game, even compared to a lot of you know, legendaries and stuff. So very cool. I don't think we have any CC legendaries, do we? We have a couple, but nothing crazy. We'll get rid of both of these. No attack main stat. That's unfortunate, man. That's a close one. Maybe we'll keep that just for fun, but this one is definitely getting rid of. So stat, she's not going to deal a lot of damage. You can see she was out for a good amount of time, and she only did 124,000. So that's why you don't focus on damage on her. She's literally there for CC, but she gives that beautiful CC and that penetration. So that you deal more damage. Gear Raid 2, you could use her, but I don't think a lot of people are going to use her. I think a lot of people even use her in 21 here, if I'm not mistaken. If I go to guides, recommended lineups, yeah, see, everyone's using Marri even in stage 21. So she definitely gets used in endgame. This is the only team right here with no Marri. I mean, look at this. Everyone's got a Marri in their team. So you can see just how useful she is, even in very, very, very endgame content, like Gear Raid 121, which is probably the hardest dungeon in the entire game. I think this dungeon right here, 21, stage 21 is the hardest dungeon in the game. Okay, that's it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like and the subscribe button. Have a great day, everyone. See you guys.